Hey, what's up, boxing fans? This is the Rope-A-Dope Report. I'm your host, Chris Carlson. Make sure you check out Rope-A-Dope Radio. We had Omar Henry, who has a fight coming up on Friday, on the show last night. We hope to have Steve Cunningham on next week. He was in the gym. He was busy last night, so he wasn't able to call in. Make sure you check that out. I'll leave a link for the Blog Talk Radio site. This is a prediction video for Miguel Kessler. I just called him Miguel, didn't I? Miguel Kessler versus Carl Froch. Now, if you look at their last two fights, it's really easy to be down on both these guys. Kessler basically got shut out in a rough and tumble type fight. A lot of people think it was the headbutts, that really love Kessler. Like, oh, it was the headbutts. He was fighting dirty. And don't get me wrong, he was fighting dirty, or he was also doing veteran moves like getting his punches off and then holding some, no doubt he was rough and tough. But I think the fight, by the time the really bad headbutts happened, the fight was in hand. That's just my opinion. Either way, Kessler didn't look good. We all can agree about that. Carl Froch could not catch up to Andre Dirrell. Sometimes looking at the fighter's last fight can really give you a clue or give you a hint about, to what's going to happen. Perfect example is Stevie Forbes against Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar messed up his eye in it. He just didn't look that good at 150, and then Pacquiao devoured him in this next fight. Another way, though, you can look at it, and it can throw you off because, look at Malignaggi's fight against Hatton, and then when he fought a tune-up no-name guy who actually kind of buzzed him late in that fight, didn't look good in that fight, and then he comes out and just, looks great in his next two fights. So you really never know. Carl Froch is a guy that is a come-forward pressure fighter. He can be outboxed fairly easily. He's got a jab, and sometimes he paws with the jab too much, and he's at his best when he actually establishes that jab. He's looking to throw that big right hand that he has. He has a lot of power. He's got a good chin. Taylor did put him down. Dirrell in his last fight hurt him later in that fight, no doubt. So he wants to come forward at you. He's not just a blatant, no skill fighter come forward, but he's definitely a limited guy. Let's put it that way. When he's facing a boxer. Kessler, although he got outboxed in his last fight on the inside and the outside, he is a guy that if you look at his fight against Andrade, he's a guy that can establish it with a good jab. He can counter punch. He doesn't necessarily walk backwards and box backwards a lot in his fights, but he can make those adjustments where he's just at the edge of the pocket where he's basically still in punching range and kind of make you miss and then hit you or get you 1-2 or establish a jab and then drop more and kind of get in and out and maybe circle. I believe this fight will be fought for the most part in the middle of the ring. Maybe not dead in the middle. Obviously, Froch is going to come forward, but I see similar things as far as how, if you look at Kessler versus Andrade, how he was just making subtle, smart movements and getting his shots off. It's not that I don't think. If it's in the center of the ring too much, Carl Froch can land a huge right hand. So I'm definitely not counting out Carl Froch in this fight. I think it'll be a really good fight. I think it'll be a good fight. I think it's going to have chunks of just straight brawling. Like I said, just two guys going at it. But I think that the more clever, the better all-around fighter is Kessler. So I am going to pick Kessler by decision, although I wouldn't doubt if Froch, I'm not trying to give Froch no way that he can win this fight. And to be honest with you, activity-wise, if you look at it, lately Kessler fought finally against Ward in a fight 3 months before that fight. But, he did have some inactivity. And after the Calzaghe fight, he had some promotional problems. And it definitely left him inactive. And he hasn't looked quite as good or as sharp as he did, even in the Calzaghe fight. And before that, obviously, when he was undefeated. Obviously, Andre Ward was a tough matchup for him, and he did not look good. But this is a different one, so I'm going to go with Kessler. on this one in a decision. This has been the Rope-A-Dope Report. I'm your host, Chris Carlson. Peace.